So hi
Dr.
Sunita.
Karthik, we have an hour, right? For our
Yeah, 1 hour,
okay,
1 hour.
okay.
So namaskaram and welcome to all the participants. Thanks for joining. So we had so many responses and we are going to stream this on YouTube also. In case you miss joining live, you can watch it on YouTube. So, so as you all know, today we will be officially launching the medical writing certificate course in collaboration with SciVoc and Avenida. Later, Ashraf ji and Sunita will talk about the course and why we are planning to do this course, what will be the value it offers, etc. All that core information they will give. But before that, I wanted to share a few thoughts. First and foremost is we should decide our area of interest. We should not jump and join any course just because somebody is offering it. Okay. So we should try to identify our area of interest, and if we think we lack some skills or knowledge, we should think of upgrading our knowledge by joining a course or maybe studying ourselves. So we don't have to always join somebody to learn. First priority can be learning it by ourselves, but it is not wrong to seek help and guidance with somebody who has already done it. And there I want to clearly make a point. Most of the time we ask opinion from people around us who might not be experts. So you might have experienced this many times. Let's say, I'll take some other example. Let's say you want to go abroad and you end up asking somebody in your close circles who has not been to abroad. Most of the time, what they say is they will not say they don't know. They will say whatever little they know. Maybe with good intention, they share something, but that information might not be completely true, relevant, up to date. Basically, that is not an expert opinion. So what I'm trying to say is when we seek guidance, we should seek from experts who have done it. And today we have Mohammad Ashraf ji with us. All of you have seen his profile and post on LinkedIn, and so many responses we got. So I think if I remember right, he has handled more than 850 odd medical writing projects and assignments. So he is an expert. Basically, he will give you the best possible guidance and work with topmost companies. And what I like the most is he had a great opportunity to go to UK and work there, but he decided not to take up a job but start his own company. And the ultimate vision is to put India on the global map of medical writing. So that is when I connected with him. That is what inspired me to talk to him and come this far, collaborating and doing this medical writing course. And the other thing I want to stress is whenever we associate with somebody, first preference I give is the kind of person they are, their nature, and then their professional credentials. So even there, like our wavelengths match at every stage, every step. So I'm happy that he has agreed to collaborate with us and help us in uh, rolling out this program. And we also have Sunita. Sunita will talk for a few minutes and then she will share her experience. And maybe that time I will also talk my experience of connecting with Sunita and the great progress she has made in career. And I should tell that the opportunity to Sunita is given by again, like Ashraf ji. Uh, at the same time, she has that qualification credentials. So with these few words, I welcome all of you again and over to you, Ashraf ji. You can take it from here. And I think again at the end I'll talk. And one other thing is, so I request you to talk about yourself a little. Sometimes people hesitate to do that. So I want all the audience to understand where you are coming from, the experience you have, hundreds of the projects you have taken, the certification you have in medical writing, so that audience get a clear understanding of your expertise. And then we will also talk about the course itself. So over to you.
Definitely, Dr. Karthik. Thank you so much. I'm going to touch all these points, and thank you so much for a kind introduction. Uh, good evening, everyone. My name is Najeeb, and thank you for being here, for listening to Dr. Karthik and myself. As Dr. Karthik mentioned, there could not be an apt introduction to the program or to the session as given by Dr. Karthik. Absolutely nailed it, when I say that, because, that's what we are looking for at all levels when we are looking for doing something in order to enhance our knowledge or to get mentored by somebody in terms of learning. And those are the stuffs which I'm going to talk about as well. Whatever he spoke in the beginning is what I have captured in my talk and something which I'm going to share as well, right? And the idea of this session is for all of you to take at least one or two things that you want to carry with you. Okay. Now, as Dr. Karthik mentioned, you don't have to take everything. Now, everyone has a very unique journey. Everyone has a very unique way in how you learn, how you adapt, how you evolve. Now, what matters is you take those things which really matters to you and you see, okay, you know what, I think I would want to adapt this way of working or this kind of style or this kind of approach in order to enhance my personality or skill set and otherwise, right? So what I'm going to talk about is very much limited to my experience of how I really got into certain things, for you to be able to connect and see where do you really fit. You may not fit in all the phases that I'm talking about, but you'll fit somewhere. So can you take something of that and see how you apply to it? And it's a practical hands-on experience, right? I'm not talking about something which I have not done. I've been there, done that, and I'm bringing those aspects for you to be able to decide what you really want. That's what Dr. Karthik opened up with. And if some of you have been a part of my earlier sessions, I always open up with that. What do you really want? Sometimes we have answers, sometimes we don't. If you have answers, very good. You may want to clarify it further. If you still don't have, you may want to connect with somebody who is an expert in the field to guide you accordingly. And I'm going to talk about that in the presentation. And please let me know when you are able to see my screen. I'm trying to project my screen. Just give me a few minutes, please. And Dr. Karthik, just to suggest, so, I'm going to finish my thing and Sunita is going to come after that, right? Or Sunita is,
Yes.
Sunita, you want to introduce yourself, Sunita, before we get started?
No, Najeeb, you can carry on with the presentation first.
Okay. So just a second. And please let me know when you see my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
No, sir.
Now?
Yes, sir.
Now you can see?
Yes, sir. Yes,
all of
sir.
you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
We make
Thank you
the
so much.
presentation mode.
Yeah, I think it's a shared screen, Dr. Karthik.
Okay.
So if I do a presentation mode, it's going to go into a different screen and it's not going to project.
Sure.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
yeah, that's
That's something that I am not very good with. So
sure, that's okay. You can continue. Yeah.
But for everyone in the session, feel free to stop me in between, ask questions. It's a two-way communication. It's not something for me to come and say and for you to only listen. I want you to interact with all of us, me, Dr. Karthik, Sunita, everyone here. Just ask questions. Don't hesitate to ask questions, okay? So what I'm going to touch upon today is, what has medical writing made of me, who I am today, and why am I still here, and what am I doing, right? That's critical to why we discuss, what Dr. Karthik and, I am doing and what we are trying to achieve, for medical writing in India. Okay. Now, broadly, this is what I'm going to touch upon. How my journey very briefly into, what brought me into medical writing, how I survived these 15 years in the industry, and still continuing. And I'm very happy. I'm still as passionate as I was the first day, when I joined, right? It's just that I have more clarity now. And medical writing courses, what Dr. Karthik and myself, we are trying to achieve and what we are trying to do. I'm going to touch base all of those things. And at the end, we want you to have questions for us. Please feel free to ask questions. Okay. The first, which Dr. Karthik opened up with, you need to be clear what you really want. Okay. You need to be clear of what you're seeking, what your interest lies in. And sometimes, as I said, you have an easy answer. Sometimes you don't have an easy answer. When you have an easy answer, it's very nice. It's very good. You will still have doubts, and it is not incorrect to have doubts. It's very human to have doubts. Okay. And it's not just because your peers, your families, your friends are telling you to join a course or to join this particular organization or to join this particular stream because everyone else is doing good over there. Should not be a motivator for you to really go there if you are not motivated yourself. Okay, because what happens is we get influenced looking at people around us to see how successful they are, or how good they are doing, or how well they are earning. Well, everyone has a different journey, right? So it's what you want versus what others are doing. Everyone has a different journey. Not everyone tells you the same struggles that you think you are telling everyone else, right? Nobody tells you the struggles. Everyone tells you good things. Okay, I'm going to talk to you about the struggles today so that you understand how struggles make you. So the first and foremost, be clear what you really want. Whether it is pharmacovigilance, medical writing, whatever course you want to get into, whatever you wish to do, you need to be very clear. If you are not clear, seek suggestions, opinions, guidance, coaching, mentorship from experts who are there in the field, who know that they have navigated through it and can guide you properly. Not somebody who, like Dr. Karthik said, that if you want to go abroad, and people give suggestions in good faith, but you don't really take suggestions from somebody who has never been there. How can somebody guide you to say, go to, for a foreign university for a course when he or she has never been there in their lives? They don't even know. It's very easy for us educated folks to read things online. You're all scientific folks. You all should be hungry for knowledge, inquisitive, reach out, seek, learn, explore, find out who is the best source for you to check, follow. Don't get influenced by marketing gimmicks. There's a lot of marketing gimmicks. Okay. People show themselves, or, there are things that show themselves as experts and, very good. They're not. Sometimes they're not. There are many which are very good. If you see, that is why a Mercedes or an BMW or a Rolls Royce, they never advertise their vehicles. Why? Because they are already established. They don't need to do that. People will come for that, right? I'm not saying advertising is bad. It's just that you need to be able to make a choice, right? So be clear over there. Now, for me, medical writing, how did it really happen? How did it really evolve into what I am and how it went? So, for me, I've described it into 3 phases. The first phase was a learning phase for me. I kind of got into medical writing by chance. Let me be clear on that, right? However, before I got into medical writing, I had 6 job offers from my university. Okay, 6 offers for research. I did not go to any one of them. I had a lot of opportunities to get into data management profiles. I think in 2005, 6, I think I was getting around 10,000, 15,000 salary per month. I think back then it was a good amount. And, and all of the people in my batch were actually moving out of science because it was not seen as a very, return to, quick buck return kind of option for people, so it was most sought after, like, you go for those call centers and IT related stuff, which is going to pay you more, right? So most of my folks, they moved to those kind of streams because they wanted job quickly, because there was a norm that as soon as you finish college, you should get a job, right? Who decided it? I think it's a society. I was very clear. I'm not getting into data management. Okay. I was very clear. I'm not going into a call center. I wanted to get into science in order to make a difference. This is what I knew. This was my premise. Right since I was doing it, this was my premise. I want to make a difference through science in whatever I do. This was my foundation. I said, if I get into data management, yes, I'm looking at data, but I may not be able to do what I really want to do, perhaps. So I was very clear that I don't want to get there. Yes, call center would have paid me 15,000 per month back in 2005, 2004. I did not get into that, even though my jobs were delayed and my friends were getting job and they were influencing me. Najeeb, leave it, man. Why are you, so particular about seeing what you really want? There are no job options for us, for people who've done biotechnology. Okay. But I said, no, I'm clear. So that comes to the point, persistence and patience. You need to trust yourself. You need to trust what you really want, and good things take time. Good things don't just land into your lap just like that, right? Sometimes it comes easy. Sometimes you have to really work hard at it, right? And that brings you to the point that I had belief in myself. I told you I had 5 to 6 offers from companies like Invitrogen, Monsanto, for research kind of profiles. I had these offers, one final interview and I'm in. I had the offer from Invitrogen. I did not go there. I was in Bangalore then. I said I'm not getting into research because I was not a person who wanted to get into wet lab. I did want to contribute, but I was not very keen to get into a wet lab kind of profile or into a data management kind of profile. So I did not pursue those 4 to 5 opportunities. I know I went to an interview with one company, and I think I forgot the name of that. It's a very big company. And I didn't get into that, and I felt bad, but I'm very happy I didn't get into that, because that was mostly looking at resumes of site coordination, looking at CVs and trying to just sort it out. And they felt that this guy is not a fit because he can't do this job, which I didn't understand then, but I know why they thought what they thought, right? So this brings me to the point that when I was going through all of these, I was ready to learn and adapt and see what I really want to get into with the basic premise in mind. So I was very clear in my mind. Don't mistake it that I didn't have doubts. I was very doubtful. Okay. And it is absolutely fine to have doubts. Then it connects me to the point of believing in myself and being persistent and patient and being hopeful that you will get what you want with some time. It's not the right time, perhaps. It will show up at the right time, which means I was not influenced by the peers and the stories. I did listen to them. I was listening to them. I was listening to everyone around me. I'm like, Najeeb, you're wasting your time. Najeeb, you're sitting there. Najeeb, don't do that. Najeeb, oh my God, I've got a job. And I used to feel like, oh, wow, I never used to feel bad when my friends used to get job because, they're my friends, I'm happy for them. But then I'm like, man, then why did you do this degree for 3 years and you're getting job into something like a call center, right? It's not only about earning money. It's about you making a difference, right? Yes, we need to earn money. It's important. If that is driving you, perhaps your decision mindset will be different, right? And the last point is I knew what I was looking for. Definitely not getting into data management. Definitely not getting into call center. Definitely not getting into wet lab. Those were not my personality. Okay. So my focus for the first 6 years, let me tell you, how I, kind of got into GSK. I had almost about 10 to 11 rounds of interviews. People today, when we get applications for medical writing, people want to be selected in just one round. They don't want to give writing tests because they believe that we are going to take medical writing or their writing and use it for our clients, which is unfortunately a very wrong perception or a misconception that people have because they and I think people have been fooled by certain companies, perhaps. I'm not really sure, but this practice exists, right? But I had 11 rounds of interviews and tests and this and that to get into a company like GSK. People don't even want to, go through 1 or 2 rounds of interview today, because everyone thinks they are so brilliant. It's not wrong to believe you're brilliant. Now you need to really understand whether you really are brilliant or you think you are brilliant. There's a difference. Okay. So the first 6 years, my focus was on learning, skill evolution, improving myself. I got into GSK in a publication writer role. I did not even know what was that, but I was happy that I got into something that I really wanted to be connected with it. Right. And can somebody mute yourself, please? There is a. Thank you. So how I evolved into the first 6 years. Can somebody mute yourself? There is a baby crying and there is some kind of coaxing for the baby. So sorry for the interruption. Where was I? Yeah. So I kind of got into the first 6 years into these three positions: publication writer, evolving into a scientific writer one, scientific writer two. Terminologies are different across different companies. But let me tell you, the growth in medical writing does not come so quickly. If you think, or anyone thinks, that I'm going to evolve from a junior writer to a very senior writer in just 2 years and 3 years, and I'm going to reach the topmost level, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. Well, I'm not saying it cannot happen. There are exceptions, but it's a writing process. It's a process which takes time. You cannot be the best writer in the field without going through all kinds of experiences that you really need to go through. Okay. Growth just does not happen like that. You have to toil, you have to work hard. So these were my first, 5 to 6 years, which involved 3 years in GSK. Then I moved to Novartis. And when I moved to Novartis, that was mainly my involvement phase. Hello? Is there a question for me?
I don't think somebody accidentally they might have unmuted. So you can go ahead and continue.
Yeah. All right. So I think that brings me to the next phase of, the next 4 years. So you see, first 6 years is where I was learning, kind of figuring out how it is, what it is, trying to get better. I told you my focus, when I got into Novartis and kind of, went a little more, I spent about 6.5 years in Novartis, and I absolutely love it. I love the company. I love all the companies that I worked with. I love all the people that I worked with, because they taught me who I am, what I am today. Right? And during those mid-phase, evolving phase, you have your doubts and confusions while you're working as a writer, how good you are, how good your quality is. You need to evolve. Your manager is not happy, I won't say not happy, but you want to see your drafts coming clean. You're trying to take more projects, more complexity, trying to manage time, project management, time management, writing per se, stress management. It's a role which brings everything together, right? And then it leads you to a confusion, because you're like, okay, you know what, I'm doing the same thing over and over again. I'm writing abstracts, I'm writing posters, I'm writing papers, and I'm doing QCs, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that over and over again. I'm not sure where it's going to lead me, and how is it going to evolve, right? So it brings me to the point that it's not as fast growth as expected. You cannot become a super senior writer or a principal writer or a expert writer from a junior writer in just 1 year, 2 years. No, you cannot. Anybody who tells me that, they have those taglines or those titles, it's good to have titles, but let me tell you, let not the title confuse you. Let not the title deviate you from, thinking what your capability really is, because the titles never defined me. The titles never drove me to achieve something. Yes, I wanted to progress, but it was not because of titles. It was because of my skill and capability. Am I learning? Am I developing? Am I learning any new skill set which is making me confident to take on a very complex project under a short timeline, something that I have never worked on, something that is new to me and I don't know how to do it. I have to navigate my way through it. I have to find a solution to it. Am I able to do that? If I'm able to do that, I have evolved. I don't need taglines. Okay? I don't need somebody to tell me that, okay, you know what, you have, yes, it helps, my managers, my mentors, I had very good people who have already helped me. But as Dr. Karthik mentioned in the beginning, the growth, the learning is on you. The companies assist you. The mentors assist you. They are not responsible for your growth, or they're not accountable for your growth. Your growth is in your hands. If you don't put efforts, if you don't do your work, if you think that, oh, you know what, 2 years has happened, everyone gets promotion in 2 years, I should also get promotion in 2 years. Perhaps you may get promoted in 3 years because your learning curve is like that. Perhaps somebody may get promoted in 1 year because they are quick learners. They are very quick, adaptable people who can, take on complex projects, chop, and do it. There are people who have not been promoted for 4 or 5 years because they are not able to keep up certain things. Do you trust the system, or do you, really trust how you are actually evolving in order to prove it? So that brings me to the point of the focus action more than words. It's not that I have spent, I never questioned my managers to say, oh, you know what, I've completed 2 years in the role, I should be promoted. Never. I was more looking at, okay, you know what, yes, I should be evolving and I should be growing. And am I not evolving? Am I not growing? How is my manager looking at me? Clarity of thoughts. There was competitiveness because, at that role, there are so many people who want to get promoted and they want to move ahead. Am I good enough? Too many choices around. Now, I know there are so many companies today who are looking for medical writers, so people are not very stable. I value stability. That was me. I'm not saying that, you cannot move. But what I'm saying is, for me, stability is valued. I value stability. Just because, I have spent 1 year, I spoke to so many candidates who have been promoted last year and they want to get promoted to this year and they're just having 1 year experience in writing and they say that I want to grow. I said, well, you have been promoted last year. Have you really grown is my question. Oh, yes, I have been promoted. I said, but that's fine. Have you really grown? What have you really grown, learned in the last 1 year for you to say that you have grown? Oh, no, I have been promoted. Right? It's not their fault. It's how you internalize certain things and look at it, right? One company versus many. Where do you want to learn your skill? I know the managers matter a lot. I'm not getting into that discussion. But, this is something that we need to really think. That evolved me. I took a lot of projects. I kept doing things, doing, learning, trying to get better, trying to be indispensable so that an actions more than words, and Novartis has been one of the best companies that I've really worked in. I love the place. It's like a home for me. Okay, I can still go around, get inside and talk to people. I know so many folks over there, right? And I had a chance to, kind of be a senior writer, team leader for franchises, looked at different opportunities and achieve a lot of things that I possibly could in my time, right? But always remember, growth comes at its own time. You need to see where you are. Don't compare yourself to your peers or somebody has been promoted, he or she is not deserving. We don't know the story of the other side or the struggles of the other side. As I said, nobody tells you that. You need to look at yourself. If you need to focus on yourself, you need to focus on where you are without being affected by how things are shaping around you. When I say that, it's not that you can't be cognizant. It's just that you know what you want to do and how you want to do it and what you are doing about it. You are going to your manager. And I used to go to my manager and tell, hey, you know what? I need this training. Hey, you know what? If you are not interested, for example, if the person is not interested, imagine there are thousands of employees in a company and the manager himself or herself is a human, right? They may miss things here and there. So you can't really go and blame a manager and say, hey, you know what? You are not looking after me. Well, you're an adult. Are you taking responsibility for yourself? I'm here to guide you. Do you know what you really want? Communication is important. You talking is important. You talking to your manager or, things important. I was very glad to have very good managers for me to explore, talk, say, give me complex projects, give me challenges, give me things that, that excites me, which means we had, these project level discussions in Novartis. Every Monday, we used to have these discussions, and any complex project, a new project that used to come, I always used to raise my hand. Not because I wanted to show, oh, Najeeb is always raising his hand. No, I was very excited to take new projects, something that I have not worked on, something that is new to me, which will challenge me to explore areas which I'm not familiar with. This was my motivation. As I said, get better. How do you get better? You get better by doing things which you have not done before. For you to seek that experience. If you don't take it, somebody else will. And that's why my manager trusted me. If there is a complex project, if there is something that needs to be done very quickly, if there is something very critical, it needs to go to Najeeb. This guy can handle it. That faith helped me build faith in myself. Good, you kind of evolve over and over. It's not that, I doubt myself even today for certain things. And it's absolutely fine. It's very human. Right? All of us do. So don't get you feel bad that, oh, you know what, I don't know what to do, how to do. Yes, you will have doubt at every stages. You can ask Dr. Karthik. He has also been through this journey, and he will also be doubtful about certain things. And that's what makes him to take good decisions, right? So this is where, I kind of got into artists, and then I moved into a phase wherein I'm pretty confident of, getting into those complex roles or those complex challenges which really stirs my creative juices, in terms of I want to do something which is very, very different, or something which I want to add as a skill set to my already known knowledge, and I'm aware of what needs to be done, right? And this is where you move ahead in your next phase with a little more confidence and clarity of what you're looking for. While in the first 10 years, I realized what are the challenges with medical writers in general, both from a technical as well as a soft skill perspective. What are the writers not talking about? What is the market perception about Indian writers? What are the companies doing about it? What are the managers doing about it? What are the individuals doing about it? I used to think at that level. Okay. So, it's not about putting blame on the company or the managers or anyone like that. The question is, what are you doing for yourself in order to find a solution or to, move ahead and learn something new? If you have not done something, it's very easy to blame anyone today. It's very easy to blame. Trust me. Right? So that brings me to the point of internalization. What's your approach? The shortcomings that we have, we want to say and put it on somebody else, giving it somebody else's responsibility. Why should I be responsible for somebody else? I can guide somebody. I can help somebody. I can show you the way. I can tell you, don't go in this direction. You will fall. You will hurt yourself. But if you decide to go over there, it's your choice, right? I told you, or when I say I, it could be anybody who's your mentor, told you not to go over there because perhaps you may hurt yourself. But maybe that's your learning style. You may want to get hurt and then learn, which is okay, right? So the next phase of my post 10 years were mostly about finding more solutions more aggressively. I was seeking solutions in my first 10 years. There were many answers that I needed to answer for myself, which got cleared in 10 years, not in 1 year, not in 2 years. There were doubts, so the reason I'm putting those points is because when you get into a course, went into a profession like medical writing, it's individualistic growth and development and learning. Just because somebody has been, growing at, every 1 year or 2 year or 3 year, it does not mean that you will also grow at the same pace. It's very individualistic, right? So in the growth phase, when I moved into Cactus Communications, I had a dual role. I was like an associate medical director, and then I was also later given an additional role of a global publications manager. And was looking after 3 franchises, and I absolutely loved it. I loved working in the company. I loved the people over there, and the lot to learn. Absolutely loved the way certain things happened, opportunities given, and it's how you take those opportunities. Right? If the opportunity comes to you and you don't take it, then you can't blame your manager or your superiors that you are not promoting me or I'm not getting promoted. You are not taking it. I can come and force it upon you to take and do something. Whether you're interested or not, I don't know. I see people who are more excited to do things, perhaps because they are more inquisitive and they want to do. But there are some people whom you give the work and they do it, which is absolutely brilliant. There are different levels of people that we have in the company or the working style, and all of them are important. All of them are important. You cannot deny the learning curve and the working style of individuals. But for me, all these 15 years, I still believe, and I'm telling you because this is what I believe in. I do it. Learn. I cannot emphasize more than that. Even today, I'm learning. Even today, I make mistakes. Even today, I am doubtful of some decisions. Even today, I am concerned on, whether this is something good or not. How can I do it? How I can manage it? I have a basic premise, my background, my experience to tackle that. But you think I don't have doubts today? No, it's not like that. I do have my doubts, and that's very human, right? But I'm very clear. How do I solve my doubts? Where can I solve my doubts, and in what manner, right? So my next phase, when I kind of got into, where I had an opportunity to move to the UK, and I did not really go there, and started my company. Just because while we were, while I was in Novartis and in Cactus, I was just looking as to what could make things a little more better for the writers in India. What can give them a voice? Where should they be coming and speaking, and this ecosystem to be evolved? There is more to an Indian writer than just taking instructions and doing it. There is more to an Indian talent than just being given things and told how to do things. Perhaps somebody is not aware. Perhaps they need more awareness. Perhaps they need more knowledge. Perhaps they need more confidence. I said, if I can make a difference, even 1%, let me do that. That was my next challenge. I could have been very well settled, in some top-notch company right now. I had a lot of offers, let me tell you, not to brag, but just to let you know how when you're clear on what you want to do, you stick with it. You take decisions which are tough decisions. Okay. I did not have just one option. Through my company in the last 3 years, I would have had at least 3 to 4 opportunities, global opportunities with global pharma companies. I could have just been a part of that and been there. But what we are doing right now is because we are working with some kind of mindset that we want to evolve India into a medical writing hub, and the writers and the talent to be developed to a level where they have an understanding as soon as they pass out of college. They are aware what it is. They are trained how it is, so that when that happens, knowledge grows, ecosystem grows, economy grows, job options grow. India is going to be a hub of medical writing market, right? And just like you have global medical writing markets, like the US or Europe, Asia Pacific, India can be the hub. It definitely can be. We just need to do something about it. There are many people who are trying to do, and I'm glad that me and Dr. Karthik, we kind of match every level of our thinking in terms of how we wish to help achieve that. And this is where you need to find people who are kind of aligned with your thought process on how they see certain things, right? That's why you see the image over here. It's how you see things that should define you in terms of what you really want to do. Okay. So my focus in the last 5-6 years was make a difference, provide value, solution oriented, right? And this is what brings me to my learnings has been excellent. I can talk about that for an hour just on my learnings, but to be very quick, from the left side, from going from one, learn. There is no other way. You are responsible for your own growth. You don't learn, you don't find opportunities, when I say opportunities, it does not mean switching from one company to the other every 1 year. You may want to do that, it's your choice. Nobody stops you from doing that. But are you learning in just 1 year to say that I have learned enough, just to show on my CV as a marketing tool to say, oh, wow, I'm brilliant. But when it comes to execution, you're not able to execute. Unfortunately, I'm facing a lot of such situations where people tell they're very experts, they can't execute. Okay. Persistence and patience. Things will get to you, with patience, with persistence. Are you very clear on what you really want to do? Dr. Karthik opened with that statement. Are you clear what you want to do? If you are not clear, are you seeking help from the right sources to help you? How much effort are you putting yourself to explore, get clarity of thought, ask somebody who can guide you properly, not anyone who is not knowing anything about your condition or the project or the field or the space you're in, right? Growth comes at the right time. Just because my friend was getting promoted every year in the IT industry and I'm not getting promoted in my medical writing firm does not make me less useful than him or her in other companies. No, Everybody has their own growth curve. Are you confident that if I give you a very complex project and you can handle it without any errors, on time, high quality, without being followed up, without making misses, confidently talking to customers and managing the expectations without being stressed? Can you do that? If you do that, you yourself have evolved. I don't have to do anything with that, right? The years of growth, or the frequency of why I say this is because in India, it's seen that you get promoted from a junior level to a very senior level to a team leader to a manager. Oh wow, you've grown. I have seen a lot of managers who don't know how to manage. I have seen people who have been very good technically, but they're not meant to be managers. They can't manage people. Why do you promote them to a managerial level just because you want to retain talent and keep somebody happy? Is that your focus? Yes, that's most of the focus. Yes, but then you're not doing good. Unless that person wants to evolve in that role, then give that person an opportunity, 6-month period before the transition to a leadership role. That brings me to the point when I'm taking point number 5, and then I'll come to 4. Subject matter expert or operations. You need to decide when you're evolving. Evolution can happen at both levels. You can be a subject matter expert, wherein you can be a principal writer, and you can be principal writer throughout your life. It's a very sought after position globally. Trust me on that. Trust me when I say that. It's a very sought after, respectable position, a subject matter expert in medical writing. Okay. But it's possible that maybe, maybe your growth curve is like, okay, I've worked for technical things for 10 years, last 10 years I've worked on that. I want to get into operations. I want to manage people. That's what I love. I love managing people. Get into operations. Perfectly fine. That's your growth curve. That's how you want to transition your career as. Perfectly fine. But if you're good at subject matter expert, and maybe you have been put into just managing people, and you're not wanting to manage people because you're not good at it, you will fail. I've seen people fail. It's just about speaking. I want to stay a subject matter expert, and that's perfectly fine. I don't have a fancy title. I don't have manager before my title. It's absolutely fine. I love what I'm doing. What's more important? Yes, we are driven by titles and perceptions of how people look at it. You put it on LinkedIn, oh, I've been promoted to this and that. Even if you take out the CEO or a founder tag from my LinkedIn right now from this thing, it really doesn't matter. I call myself a writer. I have no shame in that. A principal writer. I feel honored saying that. That's my skill set. That made me who I am today. Titles don't matter to me. I will still do the same work that I want to do, right? Because I'm clear what I want to do. Again, that comes to point 4. Titles don't define skills. I have seen, different, interviewed lots of candidates in Novartis and otherwise, developed a team over there, interviewing a lot in my company right now. Titles don't define whether you're really skilled or not, and whether you can execute or not. Trust me on that. It doesn't matter. At least to me, it did not matter. It doesn't matter for me even now. You could be a junior level, but you could be excellent. When I say excellent, both in terms of soft skills and technical, soft skills matter a lot. How you behave, how you talk, how you conduct yourself, what's your mannerism. Are you open to learning, taking feedback, or are you somebody who is building perceptions, talking negative, doing this and this and this and this? Those things don't survive with me, absolutely, because those are not my focus. Focus on something which is more good, right? So, soft skills are of utmost importance when you are looking to develop yourself as a writer. That's what I focused on too, more on soft skills. And then you transition. Are you ready to make a difference? Are you ready to take are you okay with just taking simple projects and then expecting that you should grow to a senior level? Perhaps not. And then you may think that you're very good, but your manager or somebody knows that you are not, because you're not able to handle a complex project. Maybe, I'm just giving a hypothetical example, right? So what is it that you're doing different What is it that you're making difference in? How are you helping your team members? How are you mentoring your team members? You can do your work. Are you helping somebody out in your team? Somebody junior, somebody who needs your help, somebody who is in other team and needs support with some work that you can step in. Take that extra step and help somebody. Are you making a difference? Right? That brings you to the leadership skills, Lastly, very, very important, learnings can grow to everything, but ethics and transparency. Are you ethical in the way you conduct yourself before people or otherwise, and especially when you're alone? It's not what you show to the public or to the market or to the world. Oh, this is what I am. No. Do you really practice the same thing when nobody's looking at you? Yeah. I had an opportunity to do ghostwriting for one of my very close friends when I was in Novartis in 2000, I think, 8, 9, or somewhere around 2010 or something, wherein I'm doing good, I'm earning good, and somebody comes to me and say, "Hey, Najeeb, and my friend knew me, and she was like, Najeeb, can you help me write 4 papers? And I'm going to pay you X amount for each of these 4 papers separately." Think of it. That point in time, nobody's looking at me. I can ask somebody to send these projects to me on my personal email ID, get that done. Extra money for 4 papers, Oh, wow, it's a pocket money for me. I can actually, live life like a king size. What did I do? I said, no, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I'm bound by my rules, my agreement to the company, and this will be a direct conflict of interest. I can't do that. I said, Najeeb, can you still, can you please try? I know, this and that. Very good friend, very good friend. I took that decision then. I said, I'm sorry. I had money before me. Nobody's seeing me. Nobody is questioning me. Nobody will know. I get good money for 4 papers. I refused it. I do that so many times, even now, for several things. Okay, because I know what I want. I know how I operate. It doesn't matter what people perceive you as, how people perceive you as. It doesn't matter, as long as you're not doing wrong, and as long as you're trying to help and make a difference. It doesn't matter. The stories and stuff keep coming here and there. Don't get perturbed because of that. Very quickly jumping into what makes a difference. Success, growth, and power should not make one arrogant. I've always believed in it. If you are being promoted, if you are growing into your role, and if it is making you misbehave with somebody junior in your position, or trying to show the power that you have to bring down other people and their ideas and their suggestions in team meetings or otherwise, or whatever it is, or it is making you behave in a different manner, and you think you are the best and there is nobody who is better than you, perhaps you're not going in the right direction. If you need to make a difference, you need to ensure that success your power does not get into your head. If it gets into your head, it's a bad phase. Okay. This is for me, this is what I practice. That's what I'm saying. For me, this is what I do. 80% of the times, it's not that I take decisions wherein sometimes you need to stay like that. You're as good as your new project, which means even today, I do not rest on my laurels. I don't say, oh, you know what, I've done so many projects, so I am the best. No, I can make mistakes. For me, every new project is a new project, and I'm as good as a new project. If I do one mistake, I will be looked at with respect to that one mistake, not hundreds and thousands of things that I've done very nicely. Why? People are quick to perceive, people are quick to judge. Right? So, for me, how I stay grounded, I'm as good as my new project. It's as simple as that. I don't have any qualms in that. Right? During these 15 years, it has given me immense opportunity to contribute a lot as a writer and as a reviewer. When you review stuff, a lot of stuff, abstracts, posters, slide decks, presentations, manuscripts, small stuff for medical marketing kind of materials and stuff, a lot of them, so the projects that I worked on are diverse, different therapy areas, not only involves writing, so what I'm saying is not only writing projects, it's all mostly reviewing projects too, because as a part of my role as senior roles, I was supposed to review a lot of stuffs for writers, guide them in terms of how certain things need to be done, right? So, having a good mentor coach is a blessing. Sorry, is there a question for me? Okay. So having a good mentor and a coach is a blessing. Seek advice from experts. If I am in problem, I know there are lots of free advices going around. Everyone is saying that they are this, they are that, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. I need to find somebody who I feel is an expert and can give me the right advice, right suggestion, right guidance. There are millions of people. How do I find somebody who can give me the right, correct information that I am looking for? It needs work. Sometimes it needs work. Sometimes Almighty just shows somebody to you. This is how I came in touch with Dr. Karthik, and I'm really happy to be, kind of associating with him, because when you are clear on how you want to do things, God shows you the way. They shows you, this is the person. They bring that person or, somebody else in front of you and say, hey, you know what, here is it, because we know what you're struggling with, what you're trying to do. So, always keep that in mind. Take advice from experts. It's okay to listen to others, which is perfectly fine. If you're driven by that and being anxious and stressing yourself out, perhaps that's not the way. That's not what I did myself. Now, the problem, and I think I've spoken about this earlier also, the problem today globally is that there is a lack of trained and experienced medical writing specialists globally, not only in India, globally. Okay. But when it comes to India, the medical communication services are underserved because a lot of profiles say that they are freelancers and they are experts and they have good medical writing experience, but they don't really have that. Unfortunately, not their fault. It's just that it's too many things which I don't want to get into right now, right? But this is an unmet need and an opportunity which we can work towards to bridge the gap of how we bring talent and kind of fill this gap in India, right? Again, there is high attrition rate, quality issues. You fight perceptions globally because people think that, oh, you know what, if you need cheap work and you need, cheap labor, go to India. No, you should come to India when you need talent, not cheap work, right? This is what I'm fighting. This is what I want to change. This is what me and Dr. Karthik are wanting to change in the ecosystem in India. Fight the perception. You come to India because there are talented people. They are trained. They know what it is. And you're looking at quality out of them. Nothing else, nothing less. Quality. That's it. That just defines you. Nothing else. Titles don't matter. You could be a double CEO of a company. It doesn't matter if you can't produce quality. Right? And then there is lack of training, education, awareness platforms for skill enhancement. I know that there are a lot of platforms available for training, and so when I'm coming to that, why we're launching what we are doing and how we are doing it, right? But again, how do we perceive that? Are they really correct for us? Do you have a feedback on that? How is it training you? Do you learn something, or you just get a certificate and you go and show somebody and say, hey, you know what? I just got a certificate for a 6-week training. Do you think that makes you a good medical writer? Is the question that you need to ask yourself, right? Or anyone. So for me, medical writing is a very highly specialized profession. Highly specialized profession. It's the most respectable position I have seen, now than it was 15, 20 years back when there was less awareness, right? And medical writers are somebody who are experts who bring value. Okay. I'm not going to read this. I'm sure you can read this out. And see why it adds a lot of value to what we do and how we do things. That brings me to the point as to why Dr. Karthik and myself, we are thinking to kind of bring this medical writing course. I know there are a lot of courses that exist, and I have come across, not now, I'm not talking about now, even when I was in Novartis or other ways, and I used to check these medical writing courses because even I was looking to do some courses then, right? Because I was like, oh, you know what, let me see how these courses are. But I was not really convinced because I never thought that what they are putting there as a curriculum is something that can help me enhance my knowledge, or something which is not available freely online on Google Scholar or whatsoever, right? And I somehow feel and felt, and I know some people who have done those courses, and they came back to me when I asked what they have done, the curriculums and stuff. Unfortunately, it's not to the depth or to the level that one should actually take and say, hey, you know what, I've learned everything about it. There are some, there are some good global ones, there are some in-depth ones, and there are different modules. But me as a writer since the Novartis days has always been thinking about doing something to bridge that knowledge gap. And this is where me and Dr. Karthik, kind of got together to see, we know the common problem right now, which we spoke about, right? We know what our mission is. We both are working with a mission. Our companies are working with a mission. We told you what that mission is. We want to develop an ecosystem in India which is strong enough of medical writers who are quality-driven professionals. Okay, and you rule the market. And we said that, how can we make a difference? Yes, there are lots of courses. Yes, there are lots of people saying a lot of things. I'm not discounting them. It's how we see it and how they come across. But what we are trying to bring to you or to anyone is, if somebody associates with us, what we want to give them as a learning, as a skill set, or as a task that they develop, learn, and they go out, they don't make those mistakes which we did because there was nobody to tell us. We learned, burning our fingers. At least I learned burning my fingers on certain occasions. I had to fall to learn. Why? There was nobody to teach me at that level of, oh, Najeeb, don't do this. If you do this, perhaps it's going to hurt you. Nobody did that. I fell, I hurt myself, I got up, dusted myself. I said, okay, I know how to proceed now, right? We don't want to do that. There is a talent. We are working with a mission to kind of see how we bring this learning, consistent across different platforms, different mannerisms, and see what difference can we make, so that if somebody is associated with us, they walk out confident. They know A to Z about not only technical skills, but soft skills. What really happens? How do you really address a comment when it comes to you? What is the reviewer looking at? How you should respond to a comment? How you should write an email? How you should conduct yourself in a client meeting? What is their expectation of you? How do they build perception? How can you break those perceptions? There is no training that is going to tell you that. This comes with experience in terms of handling certain stuff because, people have been there, done that, right? So this medical writing course, I'm very happy to, I'll let Dr. Karthik and Sunita also talk a lot about her experience as, I finish off. This is my last slide. But this is where me and Dr. Karthik are working to see how we bring this together in a more comprehensive manner. We're trying to figure out the duration could be, 3 to 6 to 12 months. The format could be, somebody may have time for a classroom. If you don't have, we can have a self-learning, but that will also allow you to kind of get a mentorship if you really want to. And we're kind of figuring out as to how we take out time and put correct people based on your needs with you. And the curriculum and the fee is a work in progress. As you'd understand that you want to bring out something which is more comprehensive, not doing it for the sake of doing it. So, and good things take time. I thank you for, being patient and listening to me. I will now hand over this to Sunita so that Sunita can share her insights, and then to Dr. Karthik. And I'm happy to take questions after that. Thank you so much, if it really helps. All right. So, Sunita, perhaps you can take over.
Yeah, Najeeb, thank you so much. So, I was asked to share my journey from my starting to how I ended up here. So, I was also a family graduate, like most of you here. I graduated in 2020, and so, like Najeeb said, most of my journey was when you're struggling with something, God sends that right person across along your way. So that's how most of my career journey went. So during my second year, towards the end of that year, I met Dr. Karthik at a workshop, and I think getting to know him was a major, uh, help for me because I was a PSPP student ambassador throughout. So at the end of 2020, like when almost the time when I was going to pass out, we were free for most of the time because it was COVID and we were all at home. So I got the chance to develop a lot of skills of mine during that time frame. So we had these assignments and all these courses, and people who were working in different careers would share their experiences, teach us new things. So it was a chance to explore all that different options that are available out there. And during that time, I developed a lot of skills, especially in literature search, how to do a search, or like what are Boolean operators, advanced Excel, referencing tools. These were all. This all turned out to be great help to me after, in whatever I am working with today. So most of so like at the middle of 2020, with the help of Dr. Karthik, I joined a startup, Arintra at Bangalore, as a freelance blogger. So I worked there for close to 5-6 months, and I developed a bit of marketing writing experience, SEO skills, and all that over there. And then I decided to move into a more permanent job. So there is a lot of pressure after you finish your course to find a job in something. So although inside me I knew that my calling was for something related to writing, I couldn't find a hand to pull me into it. So this freelance writing was actually a great help. But then what happened was I got a job at a corporate company for pharmacovigilance. So I just closed my eyes and entered that. I sat there for 3 months, and I always felt that this is not where I want to be. This is not where I want to be. But I had no other choice. That's when this a similar writing seminar related to medical writing was taken by Najeeb. And I got so interested in it. I wanted to find out more. I approached Najeeb, and later I just joined SciVoc. So I left the pharmacovigilance field. So that is why, from my experience, I feel if you know what you really want, just don't jump into anything else. Instead, wait, have the patience, and have the persistence. And now there are a lot of better opportunities. See, like this course, the launch of this course is going to help a lot of aspiring writers, especially when it comes to medical writing. There are very few professionals in this field, which is why the access to learning or exploring more about medical writing is always quite tough. And medical writers are always very busy, so they don't usually, outside of work, they don't usually give a lot of time for other. It's hard for them. It's not their fault. So, and also, even if there are courses, they're usually paid and too expensive to attend, or they are always international courses and all those stuff. So, so I think this medical writing course is going to help a lot of people. After that, it was in the start of 2021 that I joined SciVoc as an associate scientific writer. And as conclusion, what I would like to say is that no learning is ever wasted. So whatever you come across is always going to be useful at some point. So just keep developing your skills whenever you're free, and being engaged in courses like these will always, put you in the position where you have no choice but to learn. So it's always good to find out. Yeah, so that's a bit about me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Najeeb ji and Sunita. So little more I will add about Sunita's journey. So as she said, maybe we might have connected on WhatsApp, etc. But I did a workshop at NI, attended by maybe close to 100, students. So at the end of workshop, what I did was I announced my contact number. I said, this is my number. If somebody wants to reach out, reach out. And to be very honest, out of 150 participants, I got messages from 3 or 4 students. And one out of that was Sunita. So, so I could not like stop myself when Naji was talking. So I could relate to so many things. I thought, let me interrupt and share what I felt. So when I gave an opportunity for somebody to send me a message on what they felt attending to that workshop, they could have sent a message, but only 3 or 4 people bothered to reach out to me, and Sunita was one. And then I think later she shared a article which got published in one of the leading newspapers. So reading it, I was impressed. So I thought she has good writing skill, and then I was part of Farindra at that time, and we were looking for somebody who can write few blogs for us. So Sunita came to my mind first. In fact, I did not have any other person in my mind, because see, here what I'm trying to tell is, only because she wrote some article which got published in newspaper and then she shared with me, how can you expect me to read that newspaper article? Okay, so it might be means I was not aware that she wrote it and it got published. Only when she told that she wrote it, then I came to know she's good at writing. And then when I came to know that there is an opportunity, I recommended her or referred her. So you should open up and present yourself. Then only some other person will know what you are capable of, what your interest is. And if we come across some opportunities, we might just give a reference. Okay. And then, as again, other thing I relate is, when we are looking for something, we get it. I have experienced it many times in my life. So Sunita approached me saying, "Can I get a uh, other opportunity where I can focus completely on writing, a proper writing job, not freelance uh, blog kind of a writer?" And that is when I got in touch with Najeeb. So all these things happened parallelly at same time. So we got connected on LinkedIn. Then I requested him to do a session. He did that session, and I personally remember asking Sunita to join in case she might miss it. So she joined it. She really loved it, and the way he talks is genuine, honest, transparent, ethical, not fooling people around, giving fake promises, all that. So then ultimately she applied, and I remember Najib saying, I did not do a favor for me just because I referred, she got a job. She deserved it. He said he got more than 150 applications, but he really liked the way Sunita presented herself, her resume, or the performance in interview. Ultimately, she deserved. That is why she got it, not because I referred her, not because Najib wanted to impress me by taking some student I referred. So that is the little thing I wanted to add, and other couple of things which Najib, like at the end he spoke. We don't want to do things just for the sake of doing it. So we want to do because we truly want to create the difference, and that is why we are taking time. So in fact, I was behind him saying, let us finalize the curriculum, or maybe start with a basic curriculum and then see where it takes. But he said, let's spend little more time. And if you remember, he said good things take time. So that is the reason it is taking more time. So we could not agree to a curriculum. And then comes the fee part. So we could have randomly start some number and say, okay, this is the fee enroll. But that is not how we do things. So it takes some time. I know ultimately you want to know the curriculum, the schedule, fee, etc. So we will definitely come back to you. So in the chat box, I shared an expression of interest form. If you have already filled the registration form to enroll for this webinar or to attend this webinar, that is good. We have your details. This is another form, expression of interest. In case you want to know more and get some updates about the course, when are we going to launch, what is the fee, etc., fill this form. And I also shared the link of YouTube recording of this session. So I want all of you to post your feedback there and share that YouTube session link as your WhatsApp status on social media for other people to know about this course, etc. Especially the part where Najeeb was speaking. So with these two things, I think we can take a couple of questions. Don't ask us the fee, curriculum, and schedule. We will send it very soon. Apart from that, anything else? Or before that, did you like it? You can respond in chat box. So did you like our approach, the way we shared what we wanted to do? So you can post your message in chat box. And as I said, I give importance to that individual as a person, their nature, and then their professional degree qualification. That also matters. But before that, how ethical they are, how transparent they are, what is their ultimate vision. So that is how we make relation. And in fact, me and Najeeb met maybe close to 2 years back. We could have started a course 2 years back itself, but we wanted to know each other well, whether our wavelengths match, we are aligned towards the same goal. So it took a lot of time. And again, as Sunita said, medical writers are busy. I have experienced it firsthand. So just to get access to Najeeb ji and have a short conversation about this course, we could do maybe one short meeting in a week or 15 days. So, but I appreciate that because he is busy with hundreds and thousands of projects. He can focus on those projects and make money, but he still makes time to talk to us. We meet every week. We assess the progress, and then ultimately we are very, very happy that today at least we are announcing the launch of our module, and soon, very soon, we will come up and we will do a good job. Okay. So Najeeb ji, I think there are questions. How is medical writing different, and can we build compatibility with other medical and paramedical staff? So maybe I did not understand it completely. Sana Yasmin, if you can unmute and ask, we'll appreciate that. You can unmute and ask. You can feel free to unmute
Yeah.
and ask this
Can
question.
you hear me now? This is Sana
Yes,
Yasmin.
yes, yeah.
My question is, because I come from pharmacy background, I can understand how all the other medical reviewer, medical coder, medical transcriber, medical writing, all of these are connecting for the patient service. So, may I know how it is being practiced in India? How it is finding compatibility with the other ongoing services?
Sana, if I understand your question, you are saying how medical writing is being compatible with these other professions,
Yes.
medical coding and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so look at the objectivity of things with what it's done. See, everything has a different objective with what it's being done for, right? That's why, and so medical writing has a different objective. Medical coding, medical transcription, all of these are different entities having different objectives to cater to, right? Now, how medical writing is actually practically, translating, communicating science in a manner in which needs to be communicated to a lay audience or to, scientific professionals across the world. And if that communication is definitely going to help a coder or somebody who is is involved in transcription in order to take that information and then utilize in his or her work, right? Because if you don't communicate science effectively, for example, if you're working on COVID treatments, right? And if you don't have information on what is the right treatment, what's the kind of research that is happening, nobody publishes that information, and you don't know really what is happening, right? If you want to use that, and if you need that information to be utilized for some coding purposes, for example, right? You may perhaps maybe having, half-baked information that is available online, and you may not know how to really apply it. So in my understanding, if I understood your question properly, if you're communicating science, that is definitely being used as a medium in order to seek some guidance in whatever roles people want to do. I don't really know the job profiles of a medical coder or a medical transcription. But what I can say is, I'm sure if they are the people who are from a scientific background and they're looking at literatures and reading and figuring out what's the latest research on different disease areas is, they will definitely look at research, published research and information before they can apply it to their respective area of work.
May I continue my question? Because of your answer, I could understand, I could relate to a term, pharma journalism.
Mm-hmm.
So is writing also like involved with this pharma journalism, because we have separate sections where there are journalists reporting exclusively about pharmaceutical companies and pharmaceutical news and the FDA
So,
approvals
so Sana, what
happening.
happens is that medical writing has different segments, and I think
Is this part of pharma journalism? Is my question.
so that's what I'm coming to. I'm giving a very objective way for you to figure out how it goes. Now, there is a regulatory writing, there is medical communications, there is medical marketing. There's also, and under medical marketing, you can have lots of these sorts wherein blog writing or newsletters, something for a marketing purposes, and some things like this, what you're saying, pharma journalism, wherein somebody could take information and write it as a piece of it. Now, whether it's a part of medical writing from definition perspective, it could fit in one of these buckets. It could be a small fit in the entire puzzle, perhaps, right?
Okay.
So you can say that, it will perhaps fit in somewhere in between. You say hardcore medical writing, perhaps not, right?
Okay.
It's a different stream of writing. It's a different way of doing certain things. And as I said, there are different ways you can evolve writing. We can write blogs on, for the same papers that gets published in journals. You can write blogs on that, right? So that blog becomes a part of medical marketing writing, perhaps blog writing. But the paper that you're writing is perhaps a part of medical communication, public publications, right? Because you're getting it published in journals. So it's a small piece that can fit in the entire spectrum. And, that's how I will see that it goes on.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and I will add not to that question, but in general, I think most of our audience are people with pharmacy background, though we kept it open for other life sciences also. But as a part of our course, so somewhere or the other, we read clinical research, some components of pharmacovigilance, other aspects. But medical writing is nowhere to be seen in curriculum. Definitely, we will need some expert to guide us. And that is one of the reasons why we are planning to do this course. And the advantage is because most of this writing involves things related to medicine, patient, pharmaceuticals. So that is the advantage we have compared to other life science graduates, especially family with your hospital exposure and talking to patients directly. So we have that background. All we need is that on top of our skills with writing aspects. So again, I request you to fill this form, expression of interest form, and we will keep this form in the description of this YouTube video also. And again, one more time, I request you to comment your honest feedback in the comment section of YouTube video, and you can share that video link with your contacts. And yeah, and as I said, we will come up with all the details, and we are like very clear. Generally, we don't accept any fee, etc., before giving out entire information. So only when the entire information is available. So what is the curriculum? What are the days on which the sessions will be taken? Who will be taking timings? Everything. Once everything is ready, then we will take the fee. And we are still thinking what should be the fee, so that, as Sunita was saying, there are some international courses costing in lakhs. So the kind of quality we give, I think we can charge that money, but we don't want to be greedy and charge a lot of money. Ultimately, we want to help you, and in the process, offer it with a decent fee, which is worth the time and the skills which you will be learning as part of this program.
Yeah, and just to add to Dr. Karthik's message, we have been, very transparent, because what, as he rightly mentioned, this is for you to decide, right? Now, we could have just say done something, taken money, and told you it is coming. It's very easy. Trust me, and I say that it's very easy for me to just put something together, come and talk about something, and just go, right? And we will say, okay, what, our course is launched, this is this. Whether somebody who is not a medical writer will really understand that or not, we will not be very ethical then. This is where, I really thank Dr. Karthik, because, I think we are in the same wavelength, wherein we said that, when you put good things together, it takes time, and when you do a good work, it's going to stay with us forever. So anyone who is associating with us or thinking to associate with us, is going to get the best out of anything that, you're going to go out knowing that these things can happen. So when you're working, you already heard about it. It will be just a matter of like, say you practically facing it yourself, right? That's how it is, because we wouldn't be here to tell you that, we are still launching or stuff. We could have done whatever we can. And because we are tied to our objectives and we come to you with, objective and very good curriculum. So, thank you for your patience. And, I thank Dr. Karthik for also, working along with me.
And actually, we also have mentors who are a lot more experienced than us. So Dr. Dar is actively involved in designing the curriculum, etc. So sometimes when we feel we are not sure, we approach him. And in fact, I have to tell this today. This morning, we had a call with one of the consultants who can help students go abroad. And what he told them was ultimately students who, when they approach us, we see them as our children, our own children. Okay. So they are not very old to call you my children. Dr. Dar is. So he was saying, if I have to refer somebody to your consultancy, I'll just take it like my child. Only if I'm really sure that if I refer my child to you, you will do a good job, we will refer. That is the kind of responsibility we have on our shoulders, especially with the kind of trust students have. Few students will jump. If I say this is the course, go and join there, this is the fit, they don't even ask me. So that makes us double responsible. Okay. So that is the reason we are taking more time, and it will be worth. And as I said,